Welcome to my rather informal tutorial on groups and groupings. This is one of the most complicated features in Moodle, so I thought I would make a complete video that shows the full effect and setup of groups and groupings inside of a Moodle course. I'm going to start in part 1 talking about groups, the first level of organizing your students into subdivided sections. And in the part 2, I will take a look at groupings. To set up groups in your course, we're going to visit the Groups link in the administration block. Groups are appropriate when you want your students to work in separate subsections. Maybe you have certain students working on one book and you have another set of students reading a different book for a final research project, something like that. Groups would be appropriate in that case. You can also use groups for things like sections of your course. Maybe you teach the same course but in 3 different periods during the day. In the Groups window, you have a Groups tab, a Groupings tab, and an Overview tab that gives you a summary of where your students are allocated. We're going to stay in the Groups tab for this tutorial. At the bottom of the page, you'll see a Create Group button. Start there. For this demonstration, my first group name is going to be called To Kill a Mockingbird. I'm having students in this group read To Kill a Mockingbird, where my other students in another group I'll have read a different book. I can put in a group description if I want, and I can also add an enrollment key. Adding an enrollment key here means that when students sign up for my course, if they enter the enrollment key for this group, they'll automatically be funneled into this group. This overrides any enrollment key you might set on the settings page in your course, which would be sort of an overall enrollment key for the whole class. I'm not going to use an enrollment key for this because I want to put students one by one into my To Kill a Mockingbird group. I can also add a picture, maybe the cover of the book To Kill a Mockingbird. I won't bother with that now, but you can. Save your changes to go back to the Groups page. I'm going to add another group for the second book. The Bell Jar. Save your changes. Now I've got 2 groups set up. The buttons at the bottom of the screen that were once gray now become available. Edit Group Settings, which takes me back to the page I was just on, and Delete Selected Group if I want to get rid of it. Auto Create Group is used if you want to funnel your students into separate groups by a certain number of students per group or randomly. So you can auto create a number of groups if you have a large number of students that you have to separate. Right now I want to add some students to my Bell Jar and Kill a Mockingbird groups. I'm going to visit Bell Jar and click Add Remove Users. In the next screen, I'm going to select a couple of students and add them. And in the To Kill a Mockingbird group, I'm going to do the same thing. Add Remove Users, choose my other users, and add them. For this demonstration, I'm using all students whose last names are Moodler, so you'll see all of them there. Just think of it like 5 siblings. Now I've separated my students into groups. How does this have an effect when we're actually working in class? Well, I'm going to head back to the main page of this course. Now this course is on Google Earth, and I would imagine in a course in Google Earth you wouldn't be having students read To Kill a Mockingbird and The Bell Jar. Still, let's see how it functions when they're working on separate project topics, but maybe in the same opportunity in Moodle. For example, in a discussion forum, such as About Me, students are assigned to reply with information about them. If I want my students to only see the posts of the other students in their group, I need to turn that on in this individual forum. To make it more applicable to my groups regarding books, I'm going to go back to Google Earth and add my own forum. This way you can really see it in an application. I'm going to add an activity, forum, and I'm going to call this Book Chat. It's a standard forum for general use. Please use this space to discuss the book you're reading. Now at the bottom of this activity, I'm going to set up my groups mode to be separate groups. That means that the students who were assigned as To Kill a Mockingbird students will only see the discussions that relate to Kill a Mockingbird, and vice versa for the Bell Jar. When I click Save and Display, my forum's ready to go. Now as the teacher, I can toggle back and forth between the Bell Jar students and the To Kill a Mockingbird students and the discussion opportunities they posted in this forum. Let's see what it looks like from a student perspective. I'm going to head back to my Google Earth main page and sign in as a student quickly so you can see what I mean. I'm going to sign in as Jessica Moodler. I can do this as an administrator. For Jessica, she's going to come into the Google Earth class in which she's enrolled and visit the book chat. She can add a new discussion topic, but only the bell jar is visible for her. If she adds a new topic, and posts it, only other students who are in the bell jar group can read her discussion post. Let me switch back to me. I can see all of her postings, but when I jump To Kill a Mockingbird, Jessica's posting disappears. So you've seen groups in action now, putting students into separate work groups. But what happens if I'm a teacher who has multiple sections of the same class? This is where the groupings layer comes in. Try not to get these confused, although it's very easy. The groups level is the most simple level of dividing your students, such as into 2 books, The Bell Jar and To Kill a Mockingbird. If I have 2 sections of English, making 4 total books that are being read, I might need to use the groupings feature. Otherwise, I can stop here with one class divided into groups. See my next tutorial on groupings if you'd like to see the next step.